of Silence by Smoke Shadow 95, read by Deathlight. Chapter 4, Lovely Music. Vinyl's eyes remained locked on Octavia for a moment. The face of the mare that she'd spent the whole day with. This grey beauty sent her heart racing. She was now looking at Vinyl with a look of shock and disgust. Vinyl stepped away from her, shaking her head as if it would empty all the bad ideas and terrible emotions that were swelling up inside of her.
Vinyl,
Octavia never got a chance to finish that sentence. Vinyl's mouth started to move, yelling out apathetically and fervently, saying this and that, and yet not one sound came from her. Her whole body shuddered as tears fell from her eyes onto the floor.
Oh my.
Octavia said, as it finally dawned on her.
You cannot speak.
She reached out a hoof, a kind gesture to comfort the hurting pony. Vinyl lurched back as the hoof touched her shoulder. The sudden, unexpected movement sending her back, and her glasses off her eyes. Their purple lenses fell to the floor with a dramatic clink, with only a small crack in the right lens to show for it. And for the first time, Octavia finally got to see Vinyl's eyes, the mystery behind the lenses. Red. They were red. She had the most beautiful ruby red eyes Octavia had ever seen. And yet, there is nothing in their beauty now, except for a terrible sadness and a river of tears. They ran down her cheeks, with every tear making Octavia feel worse and worse. Vinyl quickly turned and raced for the stairs. She only looked back once, and Octavia could see the tears streaming down her face, coming from behind the glasses. Vinyl was gone in the next instant, leaving Octavia down there, alone, with nothing but her own thoughts.
What is going on with me? She kissed me. I mean, I only just met her today. Why did I react the way I did? I was just so surprised. But why? The kiss most certainly caught me off guard, but was there something else?
They were tormenting her. All these new thoughts and feelings rose up like a tidal wave, crashing against what she already known and believed. She was content with her life up until now. And then she met Vinyl. And Octavia slowly came to a realization as she stood there.
I liked that kiss. I wanted to kiss her back.
Her heart was beating faster and faster the more she thought about it. She could feel her body heating up. She didn't know what exactly was going on with her. It was a strange and new sensation. But she knew one thing was for sure. She couldn't just let Vinyl leave. Vinyl ran up the stairs onto the stage. She stopped only once to look back at Octavia and mouthed to her one final, silent apology. She reached the end of the stage, ready to jump off into the many rows of seats. She felt stupid, so very stupid. She yelled at herself on the inside. It was only a day. It was only a day. She had only known Octavia for a single day. How could she go and kiss her? And the way she reacted, the face she made, it just made everything that had been built that day crumble and fall away. Vinyl violently shook her head. She wanted to shake those thoughts loose and forget about this whole day. But that didn't work, and she just trudged along on her way out.
Vinyl, wait!
Octavia raced up after her and shouted those words from the edge of the stage. Vinyl was halfway to the exit now. She heard what was said, but ignored them. With her head low, she kept moving, further and further away. It's quickly becoming clear to Octavia that words weren't going to help her at all. An idea emerged, but she was gonna have to move quickly if it was going to work. Vinyl trudged along. She had reached the exit. The gate opened in front of her. She briefly lifted her head up, and she saw the forms of the two security ponies standing in front of her. They stepped aside as she walked by. "We were just about to come and get you," one of them said. "Time's almost up. Where's Miss Melody?" As if on cue, a sound came from behind them. Music. It was soft at first, a low melody being played from somewhere behind her. Vinyl stopped in her tracks and just listened. She lifted her head and listened deeply to the music. Such sweet sounds washed over her. It was like she was missing a piece of herself before, and this was filling her up, filling the empty space. She had never heard anything like it. It was beautiful. Vinyl turned around to see Octavia on stage. Octavia stood on the stage of the amphitheater. She had an instrument in her hooves, but Vinyl didn't know what it was. It was like the same one that had made the awful note before, but now it wasn't. In Octavia's hooves is making the most sweet and loving sounds that Vinyl had ever heard. She watched Octavia. She couldn't look away at this point. Every move she made, every note she played, is beauty and grace given form. Vinyl saw how she played, eyes closed, full of focus and yet calm. Vinyl quickly approached the stage again. Octavia's playing never stopped as Vinyl ascended onto the stage. Octavia only opened her eyes when she was close enough to talk to. She stopped playing and set the instrument down.
I'm so sorry, Vinyl. Your kiss took me by surprise, but what was more surprising was just how much I wanted to kiss you back. I didn't know what to do, and I made you feel terrible for something that wasn't your fault.
Octavia said with all of her heart. Vinyl lunged Octavia, wrapping her hooves around her, and toppling them both onto the floor. Octavia laughed as they went down, and Vinyl smiled once again. Both of them rolled over, and Vinyl got a glimpse of something from the corner of her eye. It was tucked away in the corner, hidden in the shadows. She wished she had seen it sooner, but it was better than never. She used her magic to light up the area around the small DJ booth. Octavia didn't know much about it. She knew that it was just recently installed, but that was about it. Vinyl certainly seemed excited about it as she bounced behind the booth. Her horn lit up as bright neon lights flashed into being. As a pair of discs materialized in front of her, Vinyl pointed to the instrument on stage next to Octavia.
First, you need these.
Octavia said as she held up Vinyl's glasses. Vinyl looked surprised at first, but took them and put them back on her face, cracked lens and all. She smiled happily and started mixing some beats. Whatever Vinyl was doing, it was shaking the whole stage. Octavia could feel the vibrations reverberating through the floor and even the air. It was a strange, yet welcome feeling. The beat of the music was unlike anything Octavia had ever heard before. Vinyl gestured for her to start playing her instrument again. The sounds coming from the booth was not something Octavia was used to, but she played anyways. Together, they made a strange duet. Their music echoed out from the stage of the theater. Vinyl did her thing from behind the booth, and Octavia finally understood. She was finally beginning to see it. The strange motions Vinyl had been doing in the hotel room. The love of music. Octavia poured her heart and soul into what she was playing, and she could see that Vinyl was doing the same. And as the strange duet played, they attracted a crowd. At first, it was just a few security ponies. They had come to tell them to keep the noise down and that the time was up. The other shift had arrived and they walked in, but they didn't speak. The music being played enchanted them as it fell upon their ears. They slipped into the seats. The music echoed out from the amphitheater, cascading outwards over the city streets. More and more ponies were attracted to this new sound that they had never heard before. As more and more ponies came, they too slipped into the seats, but it came to include so many more ponies. A lot of them were just off the streets, walking by when they heard it. Some of them were workers from nearby places who were attracted to the odd, yet lovely sounds of music that had drifted by. Before long, the whole amphitheater was full, and the two mayors were putting on their own concerts. The two of them didn't even notice. Their world ended where the stage began. They didn't play for the pony in the seats, they played for each other. Octavia played for Vinyl. Her every movement of the bow a direct sound of Vinyl, whole and heartfelt. Vinyl played her music for Octavia, to show her the power of music and suppress any words that any pony can speak. She's broadening her mind with every move her hooves made. And together, the night melted away with the music they played. This went on for what seemed like an endless night of music. one that neither of them wanted to end. The ponies in the crowd cheered. Some left, and some new ones came to listen. The night went on. At one point, Vinyl jumped out from behind the booth, letting her magic spin the discs and mix the beats. She moved right up next to Octavia. Octavia's eyes opened just a little as she saw Vinyl coming. She lifted her head and looked longingly back at Vinyl, her eyes drawing her closer and closer. And so close she came. Their eyes locked with each other. Their hearts beat together as one with the rhythm of the music. This time it was clear. They both wanted this. They wanted to kiss.
Octavia Melody!
The world around them crashed. It was like reality had finally caught up with them and invaded their fantasy, tearing it asunder. The sudden cry of Octavia's name shocked Vinyl. Her magic stopped, and therefore the booth stopped as well. The beats died out quickly. Octavia lurched forward, doubling over as if she had gotten punched in the stomach. Her eyes were wide and her heart raced, but for a new and much less fantastical reason. She knew that voice, and a stark terror crept up her spine.
Come now, child.
Her mother said, cold and emotionless.
We are going home. Mother?
Octavia said, her voice shaking.
Whoa, what are you doing here? I have come to retrieve you, child.
She said.
We are leaving this place at once.
Octavia's whole body was shaking. Her heart was beating in her chest. Her words were stuck in her throat. She was gripped by the cold hand of fear. And yet, there was an unusual warmth inside her. Octavia couldn't even bear to move, but this warmth was calming. It was familiar. She glanced over to Vinyl. She was standing close to her. Octavia could feel the touch of her white coat on her own. It was the only thing keeping her together at the moment. Octavia looked over at her, at Vinyl. She was clearly worried. Even from behind those shades, Octavia could tell. And yet she was standing next to her still. Octavia felt every ounce of fear rise up, as Vinyl laid her head on her shoulder for a moment.
Leave the filth behind, Octavia. No, Mother!
All the courage she could muster was in those words. Every fiber of her being was screaming to run away. She was never the confrontational type, especially with her mother. But now...
I don't want to leave!
Octavia said as strongly as she could. Octavia's mother stared hard at her daughter. Her gaze was as cold as ice. Her eyes were nothing but dark orbs, hovering against a much darker void. A void where there was no warmth, no emotion, no kindness of any sort. Or at least, that's how Octavia saw it. She was staring down the dark void in nothingness, but at her side was Vinyl Scratch.
Octavia, my daughter, you leave me no choice.
Vinyl stepped closer. She stepped forward and placed herself in between Octavia and her mother. She stood there as a wall between them, with nothing but a sheer look of defiance on her face.
Take my daughter away from this place,
she said as she turned around. She stepped back and headed for the exit, as 4 ponies entered the amphitheater's aisles.
and leave the trash here.
Of the 4 ponies that entered the amphitheater, 2 of them were unicorns. Their horns glowed with magical energy. A bright light filled the air between Octavia and Vinyl. A wall of magic force pushed its way between the 2. Vinyl was left on the stage while Octavia was being pushed towards the exit, and her mother.
No! 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 I don't want to go!
Octavia screamed as she pushed against the magical wall. She pushed and she resisted. She banged and pounded on it as it unrelentingly pushed back. She cried out as loud as she could, but it was useless. She held her hooves up to the wall, watching with tear-filled eyes as Vinyl was getting further and further away.
I'm sorry it came to this, child.
Octavia said nothing as she came closer and closer to the edge of the stage. She could feel it coming up, only to find herself lifted up into the air. Another of the 4 ponies, a large earth pony, had taken hold of her and was setting her on the ground. Her hooves had made contact with the ground, but she had no strength to stand. She collapsed into a heap on the floor.
Come now, Octavia. Stop acting like this. No, Mother. I told you I do not want to leave.
Quit your pouting, Octavia! Stop acting like a child!
Octavia didn't look up at her mother, but instead turned her head to look at Vinyl. She's pounding on the other side of the wall, yelling in silent anguish. Her horn flared up intensely. She flooded the area around her with neon magical energy. She pushed against the wall with everything she had. Octavia's mother said a few things to the fourth pony, who advanced onto the stage. Another Earth pony. The unicorns let him pass through the wall with ease. He put himself between Octavia and Vinyl. He wasn't gonna let her pass.
No! Vinyl! Don't touch her! Leave her alone!
All the screams in the world were useless. Octavia was being pushed back by the ponies her mother had brought. She screamed and screamed, but it was no use. She pushed against the pony. She hit him with her hooves. She yelled as loud as she could. It was a useless effort. All Octavia could do was look back, watching with tear-filled eyes as her and Vinyl were being torn apart, and there's nothing she could do.